Okay, here's a thought. Sounds like sci-fi, right?
Hmm.
What if your car could, like, earn money for you while you sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Or what if your next taxi ride just had no driver at all?
Yeah, the driverless future we keep hearing about.
Exactly. And today, we're zooming in on a moment that's making that feel, well, a lot more real. It's the official launch of Tesla's Robotaxi service down in Austin, Texas.
Right.
And this isn't just, another tech announcement. It feels like a pretty profound step towards that autonomous mobility future.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here, I think, isn't just that the robotaxis have arrived. It's the subtle shift in strategy it kind of represents for Tesla.
How so?
Well, after years of really bold promises, about a fully unsupervised system, this Austin launch, it shows them being maybe a bit more pragmatic, acknowledging the safety and regulatory stuff.
Ah, okay. So like a necessary step back to move forward.
Potentially, yeah. It signals maybe a slower, but perhaps, more deliberate path to getting this everywhere than maybe Musk originally envisioned.
Gotcha. So what does this pivotal moment mean for you listening in? Our mission today is basically to unpack all the details, the precise launch info, explore exactly how this service works right now in its pilot phase, dive into the unique tech driving it.
Vision-only approach, yeah.
Right, look at Tesla's really ambitious plans for the future and, crucially, address the criticisms and challenges it's still facing.
Definitely, there were quite a few.
This is your deep dive into what this quote-unquote autonomous revolution really signifies.
Get into it.
So let's pull back the curtain then. Let's uncover the precise details of this Austin launch. What exactly happened on the ground and what made it, a truly historic moment for Tesla and the whole autonomous driving sector.
Okay, so the official launch date was June 22nd, 2025, right there in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And it started pretty small, actually. A controlled fleet, about 10 Tesla Model Ys initially. Roughly, yeah. And they're all equipped, of course, with Tesla's full self-driving tech. But critically, they're operating within a very specific, geographically defined area, a geofence.
Right, a limited zone.
Exactly. And that initial scale is significant because it's a real-world deployment. It's not just another controlled demo or test drive.
You mentioned this has been years in the making.
Yeah.
And for many people following Tesla, Elon Musk's timelines, well, they've often seemed more aspirational than realistic.
It's fair to say, yes.
So what about this Austin launch makes it feel genuinely more concrete, like an irreversible step, maybe, compared to just another promise?
That's a really good question. I think what makes this different is that it's a commercial launch.
Yep.
Okay, it's very limited, but it's live. It's technically a revenue-generating service, even if the price is, well, a bit symbolic.
$4.20 thing we'll get to.
Right. But past announcements were often about software updates or, controlled test drives. This is the start of an actual operational business model.
Okay.
It's subject to local rules, public interaction. Even if that interaction is curated for now, that's just a much higher bar than before.
That makes sense. Building on that, then, let's talk about how the service actually works today. Because it's still very much a controlled pilot, right? This isn't open to just anyone wandering around Austin.
No, definitely not. It's currently accessible only to a pretty select group of users.
Who are they?
Primarily, you're looking at investors, various influencers, people big on social media, and of course, hardcore Tesla enthusiasts.
Oh, yeah.
They've been specifically invited to try it out and, crucially, provide that real-world feedback, which is, invaluable for Tesla to fine-tune the tech and the service itself.
And here's that intriguing detail you mentioned.
Yeah.
It hints at the sort of experimental nature of this pilot. Each ride has this fixed price, $4.20.
Yeah, the 420.
It's an unusual number, maybe a bit of an inside joke, perhaps. But it suggests this isn't really about making money right now.
Absolutely not. It feels much more about collecting data and just introducing the concept in a very controlled way to that specific user base.
And the operational constraints are also key to understanding this pilot phase, aren't they?
Oh, completely. Rides are strictly limited to that specific geofenced area we talked about.
Right.
And they're consciously avoiding the tricky stuff like highways, definitely airports, or any kind of bad weather. Rain, fog, you name it.
So they're operating within what the industry calls operational design domains, or ODDs.
Exactly. Clearly defined ODDs,
Yeah.
which is standard practice for early-stage autonomous systems, but it does raise that important question about how quickly they can scale beyond these, relatively simple environments.
Okay, and now for what's maybe the most telling detail about this whole pilot setup. The presence of a safety monitor. A Tesla employee sitting in the front passenger seat.
Hmm.
So the vehicle's driving itself, no one's behind the wheel, but there's a human right there ready to jump in. What does that really tell us about where the tech is right now?
Well, that human presence is precisely what sparked immediate criticism from, autonomy experts and safety
I
groups.
bet.
Because if the system is truly unsupervised or fully self-driving, as Musk has sometimes put it, well, why do you still need a human babysitter, essentially?
The fallback.
Exactly. For many experts, this signals that despite the branding, the system is still functionally operating maybe at level 3 autonomy, or perhaps even an advanced level 2.
Where human oversight is still expected or required.
Precisely. Rather than the truly driverless level 4 or 5 that, everyone's waiting for and that Tesla has often promised, is just around the corner.
Okay, so given these operational realities, these limitations,
Mm-hmm.
it begs the question, what's the actual technology Tesla is using that allows even this level of autonomy? Let's unpack their vision-only system. That's pretty unique.
It is. Tesla's vision-only system is, it's a bold choice and, frankly, quite controversial in the industry.
Why is that?
Because unlike pretty much all their major competitors who use this redundant sensor suite, including, expensive LiDAR for that precise 3D mapping.
Right. The spinning cans you see on Waymo cars.
Exactly. And radar for long-range object detection, especially in bad weather. Tesla relies solely on cameras. Just cameras and very sophisticated AI to perceive the world.
That sounds challenging.
Oh, the challenge is immense. You're essentially trying to teach a machine to interpret incredibly complex visual cues, predict unpredictable human behavior, accurately gauge depth and distance and all sorts of lighting and weather, basically to see and reason like a human driver.
But better, presumably.
Well, yeah, doing it consistently and flawlessly. That's the goal.
Now, Musk argues that this vision-only approach is more efficient, it's more scalable for mass production. But we've also seen accidents, haven't we, and ongoing debates about how well vision-only handles, like edge cases or really bad weather. Are those concerns overblown, or are they still significant hurdles for Tesla?
No, they're absolute significant hurdles. I don't think anyone serious would say they're overblown. While Tesla's approach could be more cost-effective for mass production, if they perfect it.
Big if.
Big if! Reliability in all conditions, especially in really challenging environments, think heavy rain, snow, direct, blinding sunlight that remains a key technical challenge. It requires truly, truly advanced AI to make up for not having that extra data from LiDAR and radar.
Which most other players see as essential for safety.
Right. That's why most other industry players prioritize that redundancy for safety reasons.
And the specific software running these robotaxis, it's called FSD Unsupervised. Now, the name itself suggests full autonomy.
Yeah, the branding is interesting.
But it's crucial to understand it operates within those specific ODDs, those limited zones we mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
It's designed to allow driving without direct human intervention within those limits. But it still has remote monitoring built in and those operational restrictions for safety.
And what's also quite fascinating here is the level of transparency involved, maybe surprisingly so. Since June 15th, 2025, these Tesla Robotaxi vehicles, they've been registered on the official Texas Department of Transportation website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which means their movements can actually be publicly tracked online, which is, a clear sign of local authority oversight. And for the public, it's kind of a unique window into how and where they're being deployed.
Okay, so looking beyond this initial, very controlled Austin launch, what are Tesla's bigger ambitions here? How quickly are they actually aiming to scale this thing up?
Right. With these first steps laid out, the natural question is, what's next?
Yep.
And Tesla has, typically Tesla, incredibly rapid expansion plans just for Austin itself.
Okay.
They're aiming to grow from just these, few dozen vehicles currently.
The initial 10 or so.
Right. Starting small, but scaling up to hundreds or even thousands just in Austin in the coming months. That's the stated goal.
Wow, okay. That's fast.
It is fast. And from a bigger picture perspective, the ambition is obviously much broader.
Right.
Tesla intends to extend the service to other major cities. They've mentioned Los Angeles and San Francisco specifically, aiming for the end of 2025.
End of this year. For LA and SF.
That's the plan they've put out there. But here's Musk's really long-term vision, the truly disruptive idea.
Go on.
It's this model where Tesla owners could actually lend out their personal cars, when they're not using them, as autonomous robotaxis.
Ah, the network idea.
Exactly. Creating this massive shared vehicle network. Think sort of like Uber or Airbnb, but for your car. Your car goes out and earns money for you.
That is quite a disruptive idea for car ownership.
Completely. And looking even further out, way into the future, Tesla plans to introduce the Cybercab.
The what now?
The Cybercab. It's supposed to be a vehicle explicitly designed without a steering wheel or pedals at all. Yeah, featuring a very futuristic design, apparently inspired by the Cybertruck. It's intended to further revolutionize urban mobility by being purpose-built just for the Robotaxi service, optimizing interior space and efficiency.
Okay, that's the grand vision.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to Earth for a moment. Despite this big launch in Austin and the ambitious plans, the service faces, as you said, significant challenges. Technical, regulatory, safety.
Big ones.
So that safety monitor we discussed, it immediately becomes a lightning rod for critics, right? But from Tesla's perspective, is it just a necessary temporary measure, for data collection, gradual rollout?
Yeah.
Or does it genuinely point to a fundamental gap in their full self-driving capabilities right now?
Look, it's probably a bit of both, isn't it? The
Yeah.
ongoing presence of that safety monitor plus those strict geographical limits. It strongly suggests the technology isn't fully mature yet, not for widespread, completely unsupervised autonomous use anyway.
Right.
Now, from a development viewpoint, it's arguably a pragmatic step. You collect data safely, you learn. But for the public, and especially for regulators, it really underlines that the system isn't quite at that level 4 or 5 autonomy, the truly driverless stage that Musk has so often championed as being imminent.
And Tesla isn't alone in this race, obviously. They're up against huge players. Waymo, backed by Google,
Right.
and Amazon with their Zoox division. Why are those companies often perceived, rightly or wrongly, as being more advanced when it comes to safety protocols and their testing methods?
Yeah, that's a critical point when you look at the competitive landscape. Waymo, for instance, they boast millions of fully driverless miles. That's miles driven with no human safety driver behind the wheel at all in places like Phoenix and San Francisco.
Already happening.
Already happening, yeah. Amazon Zoox is also operating driverlessly in Las Vegas now, too. These companies, they often take a different approach, generally seen as more cautious.
How so?
Well, they typically employ those redundant sensor suites we talked about, LiDAR, radar, cameras, all working together.
The belt and braces approach.
Kind of, yeah. And they're frequently perceived as more advanced by regulators, partly because they release extensive, publicly validated safety reports. Their rollout strategies tend to be more incremental, often with clearer public distinctions between their supervised testing phases and their truly driverless commercial operations.
So less hype, more documented process, perhaps.
You could argue that, yeah. There's a perception of a more rigorous, transparent validation process before they remove the human backup entirely in a given area.
Ultimately, then, for Tesla to really fulfill Elon Musk's grand promises for widespread adoption, they've got to definitively demonstrate that reliability, safety, and sustainability, right?
Absolutely. The proof really has to be in the performance over time, especially as they try to scale up so rapidly. That's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Okay, so to kind of wrap up our deep dive today, the Austin launch is, without a doubt, a concrete step. It's happening. It's moving towards mass autonomous mobility.
Yep, it's a milestone.
But it's also very clearly an initial phase. It's a controlled rollout. It has those very important safety measures still in place, like the human monitor.
That's right. Tesla definitely aims to revolutionize urban transport with a truly innovative, potentially disruptive model. But as we've discussed pretty thoroughly, they have some significant hurdles, technical, regulatory, competitive, to overcome before that really ambitious vision becomes a fully realized everyday reality for most people.
So final thought for you, our listener. Given Tesla's vision, that idea of owners putting their own cars into a robotaxi network, what might the broader societal implications be if personal vehicles really did become revenue-generating assets instead of just, depreciating liabilities sitting in the driveway?
Interesting question.
How might that fundamentally change how you think about car ownership, about city living, maybe even about work in the coming decade?
Yeah.
Something to ponder.